thinking oil, not hate. Get out my way. Protest the Republicans. Protest the people who are actually hurting you.
I think it's important to say here, we respect people's opinions. And it is understandable that there is a lot of passion in this moment.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. The Democrats are actually done. They had their DNC Leadership Forum recently, and it turned into utter and absolute chaos. They had the members, some of the commentators from MSNBC, who I like to call BSNBC there, and these people that were out of the audience were not having it. They were so disruptive, and it was chaotic to say the least. Before we get into it, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, hit all notifications so that you're always alerted of new content. Now let's get into it. All right, just to give a little context again, this is MSNBC, and they're moderating a DNC Forum from Georgetown University. All right, and they're on a panel, as you can see, asking each other questions about what would they have done differently when Joe Biden stepped down, and talking about what the Democratic Party can do going forward to do better in their elections, basically. Now, check this out.
You do not, pardon me. Thank you all so much. We appreciate, we appreciate your enthusiasm, and we have a number of questions we'd like to get to.
And I just want to say the lady, very low haircut, Simone Sanders Townsend, she's of MSNBC. And then you've got Jen Psaki, Jonathan Capehart, and Luke Russert.
If you would please take a seat, ma'am. If you're willing to stay silent, we would love to have you stay. But we have a number of questions that we're going to ask. And please, you all don't know what we're asking. No one has seen our questions on this stage. Give us an opportunity to get the questions from these candidates and the answers that we all know you want. I see my Sunrise family over here. Give us an opportunity to ask the questions, please. Thank you. As I was saying, we are going to take a look back to look forward.
I got to say something. What is it with MSNBC? Can y'all tell me what's going on here? Why do black women have less hair than the black men? I mean, that man sitting in the center here has a low cut, but hers is even lower. I don't know what kind of signals or messaging the left is sending out towards black women. They seem like to hate us to the point where they don't even want us to have hair on our heads. I mean, you got Joyless Reed with blonde hair, and she's a dark-skinned black woman with that Crayola yellow hair. Yellow, not even yellow, as we say in the South, yellow. Okay, yellow hair, and then it kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I don't know. See, this is what the left does. They actually pick on black folks, and they really pick on black women. They really poke fun. It's like, to be on their show, you can't have hair if you're a black woman. What in the world?
And Mr. Wickler, I want to start with you, because when President Biden stepped down this summer, it was a month before the convention. It was weeks before the first certification deadlines in Ohio. The Democratic National Committee specifically faced an unprecedented scenario. There were many people that had thoughts. Some folks called for a new primary. Others wanted to ignore the Ohio deadline and take a contest to the convention floor. There were, as everyone knows here, other ideas. My question to you is, what would you have done if you were the chair?
We had a process to choose our nominee, and that is for the delegates to the Democratic National Convention, chosen through elections in all of our states, to be able to vote. And I remember that moment when the call came through. I was sitting on my back porch. I was on a phone call, and then I got the alert that President Biden had decided to end his campaign and then to pass the torch. I put my phone down, I took a deep breath, and then we...
That was a lie. He did. The decision was made for Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe. He did not come to that decision on his own. He just decided, under all the pressure that he was receiving, that he'll go along with it after that disastrous debate performance.
We called a Zoom call of our delegates to the DNC. What I found in that moment was what I think state chairs across the country found, which is that the people chosen to choose the nominee through a process that we built moved with lightning speed. There was a vote. We voted for Kamala Harris to be our nominee, and we're proud of that vote.
Thank you, Mr. Wickler. Dr. Hathaway, I would ask the same question to you. Would you have done anything differently? I'm sorry. Everyone, please. We cannot. I am going to ask if the audience would please give us an opportunity to ask the questions. And if you are not going to give us an opportunity to ask the questions, we are going to simply ask you to leave. We will not be able to get through this evening. We will not be able to get through this evening if you all continue to interrupt.
Our planet is running out of time. Our planet is running out of time to count.
And we are running out of time in this forum. Again, I would ask if anyone else feels the need to disrupt, please stand up and do it right now. I want to give you your opportunity. I want to give you your opportunity. Do it right now. That being said, I hope we don't see any more disruptions. I'm so sorry, Dr. Hathaway. Please answer the question.
Can everyone hear me? Thank you, Mr. Fayez. The youth of this nation are crying for their voices to be heard. I'm sorry for the disruption. I'm going to apologize on their behalf. But when I tell you a youth movement must rise up here in the United States of America, that's equivalent in voting power, we're going to have to get this country registered to vote.
All right, I'm really not here to listen to anything these demon rats got to say, but this is Dr. Quintessa Hathaway. She's a candidate for DNC chair. It's got her little credentials over to the side, and these people are not having it. You see people being walked out by security because they are being disruptive, and they are very disruptive when Simone Sanders Townsend, when she speaks, the lady with the low cut hair, they really, I don't know what's going on. They're saying, they're saying all sorts of things. It's kind of hard to hear, but I think I heard something along the lines of you're not working for us and you're working for the billionaires. And, they're talking about you're not for the people and, the things that are correct. People are waking up. It is getting very embarrassing for the Democrat Party, the Demon Rat Party. Y'all messed up real bad. It was very evident when Kamala Harris was the nominee. She was selected. I don't think it was a true democratic process, even though they're called a Democratic Party. It was not done a true primary way. He said they voted, but not the majority of the people of America weren't there to vote on Kamala Harris. And you see how it turned out. People could see through her facade, her fake cackle, her inability to answer questions, her inauthenticity. She was very disingenuous, and people are seeing, and these people are out there in the audience crying out. They're like, what? You're not for us. You're for the billionaires. And people have said it. The Democrats are for the elites, and the Republicans have actually turned into the party for the working class.
The zone with scammy asks. I know it's not a very big issue in the grand scheme of the climate, but if we can't talk to each other, then we can't solve anything. And we can't talk to each other because of this.
Thank you. I want to ask specifically about something that came up. We're going to continue to go forward. I want to ask specifically about something that came up during the election. And I will direct this question to you, Governor O'Malley, and to you, Mr. Martin. We're going to continue to go forward. About 1/3 of Donald Trump's campaign advertising in October of 2004. Pardon me. We'll wait a second.
You all work for billionaires or working people? You work for billionaires, you got people like me. Raise your hand if you'll get billionaires out of our Congress. Raise your hand.
Thank you. So we're going to continue on. Again, about 1/3 of the Trump campaign advertising in October of 2024 was dedicated to, and I'm going to use quotes here, gender-changing surgeries for a small number of trans, incarcerated, and undocumented immigrants. These particular...
And Democrats are still taking money from the arsonists.
She said the Democrats were taking money from something, but they were like, oh, I couldn't get what she said.
You know,
Still take money. This should have been done 40 years ago. I'm not talking to all of you. I'm talking to some of you. Don't shake your head like that. You've been on here for how long now? How long? This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. We're teachers. We don't hate the Democratic Party. We just don't have you knock on doors and we get betrayed by the establishment.
I think it's important to say here, we respect people's opinions.
Right.
And that man said, we don't hate Democrats. We're teachers and we knock on doors and you guys are paid for by the establishment. That was that man.
And it is definitely understandable that there is a lot of passion in this moment because the issues in this moment is so, the stakes are high.
The stakes are high and the issues are very important. And look, I can understand why people want to jump up and yell out their questions to these people who hope to lead the party. But
can you, let's talk about the climate emergency. Okay, hello. Let's get to the climate emergency. Let's get to the climate emergency. Jen Psaki, excuse me. We're gonna skip ahead. Jen Psaki's gonna ask about the climate. We're gonna go to climate. Let's go.
We'd like to ask some of these questions. If you could just give us a moment. Thank you.
yes.
Okay. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you all being here. I just want to restate. We want to hear your opinions. We're just asking the questions so you can all hear from these candidates and people at home can hear. Okay, let me start by asking a question more formally that someone asked.
I believe he said, what will you do if there's a climate emergency? That's what I heard. And as you can see, this is a very rowdy bunch. This is very rowdy. The Democrat Party, people are seeing through them. People are upset. People are like understanding what's going on more than because, people are not going to just listen to what you tell them. They're going to look at what you do ultimately. And people who are Democrat voters who would never vote Republican, they certainly would not vote for Donald Trump. Unfortunately, people don't look at policy. They look at his demeanor and how brash he can be sometimes. I understand people on the left not understanding true masculinity. But in any event, they're seeing through the BS. I see my Facebook friends on Facebook saying the Democrat Party lost this election. They don't do anything for us. We just give them our vote and they don't do anything. And someone else will say, but that's the only party in town. What are our other options? And people would say, well, they're taking our vote for granted, like they have been since the beginning. People are literally, if they would just really listen to what they are saying and pay attention to what's actually being done as far as policy-wise, as far as price, security at the border, education, not having school choice, really look at that, neighborhoods being overran with crime and drugs and gangs, and they will look at that, how the Democrat policies have actually been detrimental to all Americans, but in my opinion, particularly Black Americans, who unfortunately still majority-wise still vote for the demon rats. But gratefully, I'm very thankful, but this last election, only 70% of Black people voted for the Democrat Party. I repeat, only 70%. Someone else is going to say that's still overwhelmingly too much. It is, but that is a big chunk less than what it normally is. It's usually in the 90% range that Black people vote Democrat. That was cut down more than 20% more. Literally 30% of Black people voted for Donald Trump. We're looking at policies now. We're not looking at your personality, who you may or may not have been in bed with. You know, that's your business. But even I don't want my president to be like that, by the way. I don't want him to be a whoremonger. But the things that they brought up were from decades ago, and nothing, you have not heard a peep since then. We're allowed to be human and make mistakes as long as we don't continue to repeat them. But let me tell you something. The Democrat Party is in trouble. That was wild. That got real wild. It was so wild. People were so disruptive, and they were certainly very disruptive towards Simone Sanders Townsend. And I got to say again, y'all got to know they always let the black women on MSNBC not have any hair. If I worked for them, they'd be like, girl, you got to get that hair off your head. Woo, they don't want you to have hair on. I'm just saying. Look at these commercials that just portray black women as grossly overweight, grotesquely overweight, and our hair is looking crazy, if we even have any hair. But I don't want to get off the subject. But in any event, that was MSNBC sponsoring that. That was at Georgetown University, and that was the DNC Forum. They're electing who their next DNC chair is going to be. And in any event, people realize what the demon rats did when they just got Kamala Harris and there was no true primary. They may have thought that was some sort of a primary, but that was not a true primary. And the American people know it. They showed it with their vote. Some people who normally vote Democrat switched over. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. My husband being one of them. He always voted Democrat. My husband always did until this last election. 2024, he switched to Donald J. Trump and was happy to do so. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.